Hi everyone, my name is Sadadal Bhattacharjee. I lead the product management team at AWS Health AI. Today I'm going to talk to you about how you can extract information from unstructured medical text accurately and quickly using Amazon Comprehend Medical. So let's begin. If you look at the AWS ML stack, we are innovating on behalf of our customers to deliver the broadest and deepest set of machine learning capabilities for builders of all levels of expertise. At each layer of the stack, we are investing in removing the undifferentiated heavy lifting so that our customers can move faster. At the bottom layer, expert practitioners can develop on the framework of their choice as a managed experience in Amazon SageMaker, or use the AWS Deep Learning armies, which are Amazon Machine Images, which are fully configured with the latest version of the most popular deep learning frameworks and tools, including PyTorch, MXNet, and TensorFlow. This set records throughout the year of the fastest training times and lowest inference latencies. AWS provides the broadest and deepest portfolio of compute, networking, and storage infrastructure services with a choice of processors and accelerators to meet our customers' unique performance and budget needs for machine learning. At the middle layer is Amazon SageMaker, which provides every developer and data scientist with the ability to build, train, and deploy machine learning models at scale. It removes the complexity from each step of the machine learning workflow so you can more easily deploy your machine learning use cases, anything from predictive maintenance to computer vision to predicting customer behaviors. Customers achieve up to 10 times improvement in data scientist productivity with Amazon SageMaker. At reInvent 2021, we launched Amazon's SageMaker Canvas, enabling business analysts and domain expertise to create their own models with no ML expertise required. And SageMaker Studio Lab at no charge, no setup development environment designed for learning and quick experimentation. At the top layer, our AI services, as we have already mentioned, allow developers to easily add intelligence to any application without needing ML skills. We group these services as core services that include text, documents, chatbots, speech, and vision, and the specialized services like the business process ones, search, code, and DevOps, industrial, and healthcare services. Today, we are focusing on the healthcare services, and we'll dig deeper into Amazon Comprehend Medical Service. If you look at the medical industry, you will see that there's a lot of data that lies trapped in medical free-form text. These are unstructured text from operative notes to pathology reports to insurance claims. In one of the studies, they estimated that around 80% of the patient care information is trapped in free-form text, which is around 1.2 billion unstructured clinical documents that are created every year. Now, if you can untap and get this data out, there's a lot of data that can be used for training machine learning models. So with all of this data being trapped, it's difficult to extract insights, expensive and time-consuming to use specialist and traditional tools. Rule-based extraction has flaws that are tricked by spelling mistakes, cannot use context surrounding any entity. For example, patient has diabetes versus patient doesn't have diabetes are very different. So the manual process and rule-based way of extracting information is seriously limiting data scientists and analysts to get more out of the unstructured data. To solve that problem, we introduced Amazon Comprehend Medical, which is a HIPAA-eligible, fully managed service that extracts medical insights from text using machine learning. Amazon Comprehend Medical provides simple APIs that any developer can use to process text to extract medical entities, relationships, ontologies, and more. Amazon Comprehend Medical is stateless, meaning the service does not store any data. All is processed in memory. And also the service does not use customers' data to train machine learning models. Your data is entirely in your control and it's secured within the service. Amazon Comprehend Medical delivers key benefits for customers, including the ability to extract medical information from unstructured medical text like doctor's note, clinical trial reports, or radiology reports. identify relationship among extracted health information and link to medical ontologies like ICD-10-CM, RX norm, and SNOMED-CD. Automate and lower the cost of processing and coding unstructured medical text with easy-to-use APIs, implement patient data privacy solutions, and identify protected health information or PHI with a HIPAA-eligible service. Let's look at the service more closely. Amazon Comprehend Medical has pre-trained models that identify medical entities such as medication, medical condition, test, treatment and procedures, anatomy, protected health information, and relationships such as condition and anatomical locations, as well as traits such as negation and temporality. Healthcare and life sciences customers also care about protected health information, and often customers have data that contains PHI that needs to be removed or tagged before further processing. For example, de-identifying PHI to comply with HIPAA before conducting research. Comprehend Medical can detect PHI and uses the safe harbor guidelines to search for PHI. Amazon Comprehend Medical has pre-trained models that identify medical entities such as medication, medical conditions, test treatments and procedures, anatomy, and so on. So with Comprehend Medical, we give customers the ability to link medical conditions in notes to standard medical ontologies such as ICD-10-CM, as I mentioned before, as well as RX norm and SNOMED-CD. SNOMED stands for Systematized Nomenclature of Medicine and Clinical Terms. It has a very rich clinical codes, and Comprehend Medical provides APIs for each of these linking. So for example, there's an API for detecting entities, another set of API for PHI detection, and then ICD-10, RX norm, and SNOMED-CD. So with that, let's jump into a demo to see Comprehend Medical in action. All right, let's look at a demo of the Amazon Comprehend Medical feature. So right now, what you're seeing is the product page. This is where you land when you go in and into the Amazon Comprehend Medical page. As you can see, we provide around 8.5 million characters free for the first month, which is around 1,000 documents of 5 pages, each around 1,700 characters. So you can try out the service. The product page has description of functionalities, and we have updated our pricing as well as of December, and we went to a tiered pricing, and you can see the pricing information here as well. So the more volume of documents that you process with Comprehend Medical, you get a better pricing. So after 2 million units, each unit being 100 characters, you get the best pricing, and it's very, very affordable from that standpoint. So let's look at the Comprehend Medical console. So right now I'm in the console. So when you first log in to the console, you'll be presented with a page like that. So the beauty of the console is that without using the APIs, you can experience the service using a graphical user interface. So for example, when I am in the real-time analysis, there's a text field here where you can enter a sample text. I have a sample text here. These are usually clinical texts that a doctor enters when a patient goes and visits them. So for example, here we have patients 87-year-old, high school teacher with a past medical history, which includes et cetera, right? Now, if you say analyze on that particular text, then what Comprehend Medical does, it uses the pre-trained machine learning models in order to detect specific entities. So for example, the entity can be like age, which is a PHI information. So it's detecting the age, 87 years here, profession, high school teacher. And then it also detects procedure name. For example, here we are talking about status post, cardiac catheterization, which is basically the procedure name. It detects the date, symptoms, and so on. And there's a nice visual way in which it shows each of these different conditions or entities that it detected. And it also shows you in a tabular form all of the different entities that are detected along with type of the entities and the category. Is it a PHI or a test treatment procedure, and so on. As I mentioned to you, everything is accessed programmatically. So if you call the API, then for the detect entities API, detects entities v2 API, you will get an output which will be in JSON, similar to the one that is shown on the right. So here is the input text, and on the right side is the output text. So here you can see the API gives you exactly which location it detected that particular entity. Yeah, the machine learning models, the natural language processing models that are pre-trained, also gives you a confidence score of how confident the machine learning model was in terms of that particular prediction. So here it shows 0.99, which is 99% confident that this particular text is a PHI information, and its age, and the age is 87 here. So it provides you a category and type as well. And it does it for each and every entity that is detected. Now, let's look at some of the other functionalities. For example, as I mentioned to you earlier, in addition to detecting entities, Comprehend Medical also detects medications using the RxNorm API. So here I have a sample text which says that the patient is taking a medication of Vivance 50 milligrams at breakfast daily. So when you analyze this text, Comprehend Medical is going to detect the brand name of the medication, the dosage, what is the mode in which the medication is taken, what is the frequency, and so on. This is important because there are a lot of pharmacies which are trying to automate the process of giving the instructions for patients. So the RxNorm functionality can help automate that. Now, if you look down, similar to earlier, now you have the medication condition that is detected. Along with that, there's RxNorm code, which is enriched. So this is an enrichment that Comprehend Medical does by adding the RxNorm code. And for each of the detection, there is a confidence score. Now, the service returns different variations so that it's extensive. So you can pick the one with highest confidence score, but you have a more list of different variations depending on the medications that is detected. Now, if you move forward to the additional functionality, the ICD-10 CM. ICD-10 is a widely recognized clinical terms that is used. And we are using the 2021 release of ICD-10 CM for detecting the diagnosis and enriching it. So here I have a sample text which says there is a patient, 52-year-old male, with an extensive past medical history, and so on and so forth. So the ICD-10 CM API and the pre-trained models inside can detect the diagnosis here. It flags all of the diagnosis. It also detects symptoms and so on. And it's a graphical way of showing that. And if you look at the actual output from diagnosis, there is the ICD-10 code, which is added as well. The ICD-10 code, as I mentioned, is extremely important. It's used for mapping and producing billing codes as well downstream. So when you get the output, you will get the diseases, different variations of it, and different types of ICD code that is possible for that particular diagnosis. And the idea is that you can go by the confidence score and take the highest one for your processing and so on. And here is a API way of doing that. So here is the input, and then on the output in JSON, when the output of the API comes, you can see that the category is added, the type, and where exactly in the text that particular term was detected, along with the confidence score, and so on. So it's very similar to the other APIs as well. And the newly added SNOMED City API will give you, it's based on the 2020 SNOMED City edition, and it gives you a mapping of the SNOMED City code for the different symptoms, stress treatment procedures that are being detected. So in this particular example, as you can see, the procedure name is picked up, the diagnosis name, and so on. And then Comprehend Medical SNOMED City API adds the SNOMED code for each of these different conditions that is detected in the notes. And similar to previously, it also gives you a confidence score for each of them, shows you the location, and gives you the SNOMED city concept that corresponds to that particular procedure. So that's a brief overview of the functionality. As I mentioned to you, each of these functionality is available as an API, and the console is a quick way to go and experiment and see how well for your specific text the service is behaving without having to call the APIs. Okay, now I'm going to switch over to my presentation. All right, so now that you saw the demo, let's look at some of the use cases of Comprehensive Medical. So the top use cases for Comprehensive Medical include accelerating insurance claim processing, automate claim capture, validation, and approval workflows for healthcare insurance companies to accelerate and simplify claim processing. Scale and accelerate pharmacovigilance, rapidly identify adverse effects of pharmaceutical products to improve drug safety and meet regulatory requirements, and also perform medical cohort analysis, select the right group of patients for clinical trials to enable faster, more accurate patient trial selection and lower costs. We look at the payer use case specifically and how you can leverage Comprehensive Medical to improve efficiency and improve care. As a reminder, about 80% of medical text is unstructured, like patient medical records, transcripts of audio files, and doctor notes. As a payer, you can ingest that health data, and to make sense of it, you need Comprehensive Medical to extract the relevant medical entities like medications and medical conditions. That is important. Once you extract the relevant medical information, it can be used to inform models to onboard new patient groups, influence future development, and help with risk adjustment. Let's look at some of the customers' voice on after using Comprehensive Medical, what their experience has been. So, for example, Viva System is a global leader in cloud software for the for the life sciences industry. They're working to incorporate AI into the end-to-end drug safety lifecycle to accelerate and scale pharmacovigilance processes. With Comprehensive Medical, they can use natural language processing to automate extraction of data from unstructured sources and more rapidly develop powerful pharmacovigilance solutions. Another customer, Metasync, their software helps skilled nursing facilities improve revenue integrity, automate pre-assessment workflows, better control cost, and analyze overall performance, all in a single platform that uses sophisticated AI to learn your business. They had challenged in terms of skilled nursing facilities were facing immense financial pressures due to refinements of the revenue delivery system with a new definition of reimbursement for care and new administrative process to comply with, leading to 200x increase in data inputs. Nurses are in turn spending more time with fax machines and forms and less time with patients to provide excellent care. Metasync started using Comprehensive Medical to automate the analysis of unstructured medical data to meet the demands of the new patient structure for skilled nursing facilities. Comprehensive Medical ingests clinical data, including doctor's notes and transition of care documents, and extract key elements like diagnosis to enable accurate, scalable reimbursement and billing. Comprehensive Medical offers an easy-to-deploy tool that enables Metasync to deliver an efficient, scalable solution to its customers with the accuracy and precision required. Let's look at what's new at Comprehensive Medical since last year. So we are continuously improving the service for our customers and deliver on the feedback we hear. With that in mind, we are excited about some of the new updates to Comprehensive Medical. First, we have introduced new tiered pricing for Comprehensive Medical with up to 90% discount, as I showed you during the demo. Second, we have added support for SNOMED CT, which is the systematized nomenclature for medicine and clinical terms, an ontology that provides customers with comprehensive clinical healthcare terminology to encode medical conditions, medications, and procedures. This has been a top ask from some of our customers. Third, ICD-10-CM clinical code was updated to 2021, and we are looking at keeping the codes updated as new ones are released. And finally, we have updated our console and product pages for an improved customer experience, as you saw in the demo. To enable some of the use cases where customers need to extract information from data modalities other than text, we rely on additional AWS services. For example, by integration with Amazon Textract, you can first do optical character recognition or OCR to extract data from text images, including tables and forms, and then analyze in Comprehend Medical. By using Amazon Transcribe, you can transcribe audio conversations and dictations for analysis in Amazon Comprehend Medical. And finally, with Amazon Recognition, you can detect text in scans, X-rays, and other images, and then analyze with Comprehend Medical. Let's look at one reference architecture. By building and stringing together AWS services, customers can easily create a medical document abstraction pipeline. An example is the demo solution we built, which is available on GitHub, called the Document Understanding Solution. And what it does is basically takes the input, which is free-form text, which is stored in S3, and then uses Textract to parse out the relevant text from tables and OCRs and PDFs, and then passes on to Comprehend Medical, which basically extracts the entities, entity relationship, enriches with clinical code, and then finally stores the output in S3, which is again fed into Elasticsearch and becomes a searchable database of all the information that were trapped in unstructured data. Comprehend Medical is available in the regions that are shown right now. It's available in US West, Oregon, in US East, in 2 locations, Ohio and North Virginia, as well as in Canada, and also in Europe, in Ireland and London, and finally in Australia and Sydney. And we are constantly looking at adding more regions. It's also available in GovCloud in the US West regions. With that, I think I have come to the conclusion of the presentation. Thank you very much for your time listening to it, and hopefully we'll love to see how you can use Comprehend Medical for your own use case. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.